everyone. Welcome to the Spot Real Talk. My name is Tiara.
I'm LaWanda.
I'm Tiffany.
And I'm Ron.
And today we are back here talking about PowerBook 2 Ghost. This is season 2, episode 3, and it was titled The Greater Good. You guys hang tight. We'll go ahead and get the discussion started. Back. Like I said, we're talking PowerBook 2 Ghost. This one was titled The Greater Good. Wow, it's a lot going on, and I can already see a lot of things starting to unfold. We are not even halfway through the season, and things are starting to kick into gear. So I don't know, what did you guys think about this one?
Well, I tell you, you said it mouthful. There is a lot to unfold, and I mean, overall, I thought the episode was great. I mean, and it is getting better and better and better. I just feel sorry for Tariq. You know, I don't know if I feel sorry for him or I'm just trying to understand the mess that keeps evolving around him, because he's really between a rock and a hard place right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we kind of seen that he was juggling a lot of different things going on. I mean, he has the drama with Yaz, and he was, you know, dealing with that. It was kind of heartwarming to see that he was so working hard to get her back. And so we seen he initially went into Tate trying to set up the meeting, and Tate is like, what are you doing here? So
the Breakfast
Club. Yeah, he cracked me up this week.
Yeah, he did.
He did. It's funny.
But he came through for Tariq. He got the meeting set up, and Tariq was able to see Yaz. And I was just kind of like a little heartbroken for her, because she was like, I don't want to go back with Big Mama. I want to go back with you.
Nice.
That's that side of Tariq.
Yeah, but the social worker made a good point, though. I mean, you're a college student. You don't have a permanent residence. You don't have a job. You don't have, you know, a lot of things. So how you trying to get this minor in your care?
And you know,
and at least that she knows about that are legit.
Yeah,
it's funny because Tariq doesn't have anything, and he made a comment with, you know, when Monet came, and he and Monet met, and they both drove off, and he was like, you know, I've been with y'all for this long, and nobody.
He said, as much as I do for this family, and nobody can offer me a ride.
I mean, why won't he just get himself any old kind of car? I mean,
well, listen, Courtney addressed this in her Q&A. I recommend that everybody who watches this show tune in like on Tuesdays to Courtney Kemp's Instagram Live, because she said that, you know, the inside the episode for Star said nobody was watching it. That's why they don't do it anymore. So now she's taking it upon herself to do the Q&As on Tuesdays. And one of the things that she said was, people were in the comments like, well, why won't you have a car? Well, and she said, these people don't live in New York, because you know you don't need a car in New York, number one. And number two, she said that you guys need to realize that Tariq was also away at Choke. So he didn't have the behind the wheel, the driver's experience and stuff to get a license yet. So he's kind of behind on that, because she said Ghost and Tasha sent him away to school. So he still need to go through driver's ed and all that stuff before he can get a whip.
Get a bike. I mean, you know,
yeah. He could do that. He could do that.
Yeah. Well, I was just thinking about it though, because he had to set up this paycheck situation. He needs a steady paycheck that looks like it's coming in. So he went and he hit up Bash, and he's like, you know, can you create me this legit business? And so the big scheme is to have Braden be basically like the president of the false company, and then Tariq will start getting paychecks under that guise of this false company. And I was kind of I will say I was a little bit impressed with Braden and his plan for the little lockers that are hidden in through the different locations that are under the disguise of the brick wall. And I was like, I like that ingenuity coming out of like the younger generation, because like we're seeing this version of, you know, Tommy and Ghost, and they're not exactly the same. There are differences in how they're operating, but to see the younger generation kind of incorporate the 3D printing and all this new tech that they can use to disguise their illegal dealings, I was like, okay, Braden.
They
Yeah,
answered
more
our
tech
question. I was saying they answered our question from last week when we were like, how is he gonna use this spot just out in the open and it's not safe and nothing is secure? So they took care of that and answered that for us this week.
Yeah, they did. I guess the answer was to keep watching.
And it's hands off too. They don't have to be there. Everybody got their own individual QR codes. It's not trackable back to them. So I was like, I mean, as long as nobody sees them going up there and follows them, they kind of.
But then everybody's going up there though.
Because now you got
they're one of many people.
Yeah, and then you got Diane Lawrence up there, and then it's just going to bring more and more people. I love the idea. Like you said, I mean,
they just need a more discreet location.
Yeah, and the youth putting their technology together. I mean, that is awesome. I love that. And I started thinking to myself, okay, now I see the ghost factor coming in. Be a ghost. Nobody has to know what you're doing. Got it. But still, I'm a little hesitant about Braden.
Aren't we all?
I'm sorry. I mean, as intelligent and smart as that idea is.
And Braden, it was interesting how they were trying to scrape together the money, this $30K to give to Bash. And so they were working on how to get that. And Tariq had already told Braden, like, look, we're not fooling with Kane in the streets. But when it came down to it and they needed the money in a pinch, Braden went behind Tariq's back and allowed Kane to help him make the money. And so we already seen Mecca kind of told Kane, like, if you want to get to Tariq, you got to hit him at his weak spot. And Braden is that weak spot. And Braden is so easy to manipulate. Like, all he had to do was pull up with the girls and, entice him with a few things. And we know Braden, he's like Malibu's most wanted at this point. Like, he really wants to be in the streets.
Yes.
But it also not answers, but it also begs the question of the title, The Greater Good. So he goes behind Tariq's back to get the $30K by dealing with Kane. And it's a morality issue. You're not being loyal to your number one. But to accomplish the greater good, he has to go behind Tariq's back to
get the money. This is for Yaz.
So I like how they tied in the title, The Greater Good, and then with Carrie and Rashad doing that class and actually bringing in that sense of morality. I just one more thing to say. Does Tariq ever get to class on time?
No. Does he get anywhere on time? I mean, I'm gonna say if you're watching the show, he's always late. They're always been on Tariq, which is back to the whip thing. He's trying to get from A to B. So, and he has all this stuff going on.
Yeah.
Just thought I'd bring it up.
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, I was thinking maybe Braden thought that the situation with Kane would possibly be like a one-time thing. And I wonder if he'll tell Tariq about it, because we know Braden can't hold water. So I wonder if he'll end up telling Tariq, like, okay, I did this for us. Like, I had to get the money. And I'm hoping that, it is a one-time thing, because Kane is really out to get them.
You know what? It's like it's almost like how if you tell somebody, okay, we're dealing with Kane, he needs to have a side conversation with Braden and say, but we don't trust him. We're doing this because we have to, but you should never ever trust him.
When I was watching it, I was just like, you know what? This could be resolved a little bit if Tariq would tell tell Braden specifically why. Like, he don't have to tell him everything, but tell him enough to really impress upon him, this is why we can't do this.
Thank you.
Because I was like, if you leave him in the dark, then it just looks like, we're not effing with him. We're not messing with him. That's what it looks like.
And
but
he
he's
doesn't
not
have
giving him
anything
any
to go
context.
Yeah,
Right.
context matters. And this is the same thing we seen with Zeke this episode.
Right.
Because Zeke has been left in the dark about this whole Ramirez situation. He pulled out the PBA card when Whitman was putting the 3rd degree on him. And so I'm like, oh my God, that was like a huge mistake, because it's all of this stuff going on with his family and them being doing all of these illegal things, but they're not telling him, and he's their only source of anything legit. So
Right.
you got to keep him in the loop. And I felt him when he got angry and he was like cussing and yelling at Monet. Like,
Yeah,
I
because
felt
like,
Zeke on that.
this is my life.
Yeah.
Like, he really just wants to play ball
Right.
and go to school and stuff. And they're messing with his future.
And
Yeah.
he was so right, you know, because, you know, and then Monet goes back and she's mad at Kane. You know, yeah, Kane made a big stupid mistake to kill Ramirez, but you, at the same token, you were the one that gave Zeke that police benevolent association card, but you don't tell him anything. You don't bring him into the light. And so what do you expect him to do with that card when he's in, you know, at the hands with Detective Whitman? So it's as much your fault as it is Kane. And here we go again with the Big Mama being away from the kid and all this mess happening. We saw it in Raising King. So, you know, at some point, you either gotta, I don't know. I don't know.
You're right. It is her fault that she did not let him know what was going on. But she did have a right to be mad at Kane, because I know I was talking to my son about this. I was like, when you think about it, Kane is mixed up in all of this, because even with the Jabari thing, he shot Jabari first and forced Tariq's hand, and Tariq had to finish him off. So he started that. Then before that, he killed Ramirez.
Yep.
So Kane is, you know, he is really responsible for a lot of this foolishness that's going on.
100%. And the thing about it is, like, I was listening to the way that Zeke was kind of trying to take the interrogation, but he wasn't handling it well. And I felt like Monet and her family should have prepared him better when under pressure, being questioned like that, because they weren't arresting him. He had no charges. So, and you don't have a lawyer present. You don't have to answer any of their questions.
He didn't have to be there either. He didn't have to
No, and I'm like, if you don't get up and walk up out of there.
Yeah.
Like, they trampling all over this boy's rights. I mean, the way he even came to the dorm to get him, I'm not going nowhere. I mean, you had a warrant. Like, look, what did I do?
Exactly.
Like, I would have gone nowhere.
Right.
Yes.
He could have asked at that point, do you have a warrant? Am I being arrested? And if the answer is no to those two questions, slam the door on him.
Yes,
But
that's why I was so ticked off, because I'm like, why are you? He's so green. He don't know how to handle any of these situations.
And I get that part of she's trying to keep him out of it, to keep him clean, but you still got to give him a basic education, because at the end of the day, he's affiliated with you. And if anything ever went down, he was gonna get called in anyway.
And
So they can't justify by saying they didn't school him by the fact that they were trying to keep him out of it. As long as he's related to them, he's in it.
And not to mention, you also give him an opportunity to whether he wants to be in it or not. You know, by introducing him, you know, what the facts are with the family business, it gives him an opportunity to say, hey, y'all go ahead and do what you're going to do. Let me just do my thing with basketball. And you at least give him that opportunity to make a decision. And she's taking that away from him. And now she's put him in this dilemma, which looks like on the surface, he's not going to be able to escape too well.
But you know what? I did like the way Monet rolled up in there and gave it to Whitman.
I did too. I was like, I was so here for how Monet dressed him down. She was like, I will have your badge. She set it off on everybody, and I was here for it.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's only a mother could do.
And I was wondering if it's a mistake to get Davis involved in this, now that there appears to be like a possible conflict of interest, because we've seen that Diana asked Tariq to set her up with Davis. So Davis and Diana had this side meeting, which we can talk a little bit more about that. But then you have Davis representing Zeke as well. And so I was like, is that a conflict of interest? And how is Monet gonna feel about that? You know, Tariq doing that without her permission or whatever.
I feel like it would be a conflict if he then tries to represent Carrie. Because I was like, if he represents Zeke, I don't think he can represent Carrie.
I don't know if he's going to represent Carrie. If you've seen Tate eavesdropping outside of Carrie's door when Whitman was in there, I think he knows about the situation now, and he might try to offer her his services.
I think so too, because he's trying to get in the drawer. So you know, I think he gonna play his card.
But let's face it, we need a Davis in this type of situation.
Yeah.
So, you know, to me, bringing him in would be the smartest thing you can do, because he's crooked, but he's a smart attorney, and he likes the mess that he gets himself in. So
he knows how to spin things too.
He knows how to work the press.
Yeah, right.
He does, but it also is that link to Tariq.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I mean, granted, he's a popular attorney. Anybody who really wants to get out of trouble is going to hire him, but they're going to start asking questions. He's expensive. Who's paying him? It's obvious that Monique didn't know that he had been hired, so who sent him? You know, it's all he's a great attorney, but I think him being there, his presence there is going to raise a lot of questions.
That's a good point too. That's a good point. And then, so while we were talking about Davis, this conversation with Diana, she was asking Davis to get her father some help getting him out of jail. Initially, Sachs, you know, shut it down. He didn't want to deal with a murderous drug dealer. And you know, Davis was like, that's a repeat customer. Look, we out for the money. And
Sachs is still thinking like a prosecutor.
Yes, he is. I was like, Sachs sold his soul to the devil. Like, she, you know, what's her name was right.
Jenny. Yeah, she gave him the drop on the case because some guy, Walt, had previously, you know, dealt with that case, and he was tampering with evidence and doing some kind of foul stuff that got him fired. So that creates an opportunity for Sachs and Davis to get Lorenzo out. Now, the thing there,
oh my God,
because Monet has no idea that Diana went and did this. So if Lorenzo pop up out of jail one day and she out here rendezvousing with Mecca,
it's going to be a whole problem between Lorenzo and Mecca. It's coming, because he getting out. It's going to be a problem.
That's a whole show all by itself, right there, between Mecca and Lorenzo.
I mean, but you know, I wasn't mad at Mecca the way he kind of, you know, took her out for the lunch date, shut the whole restaurant down, then took her on the helicopter ride. I mean, he was really pulling out all the stops for her.
But what's Monet thinking about, though? I mean, she's
impressed. I mean,
she already said she's love. That's a form of love. I mean,
but I'm saying, look at the mess that can come from all this. She's got to think about the what ifs.
She's thinking about her husband, as far as she knows, is in there for life.
Right.
And you heard her when they were celebrating the anniversary. She was like, yes, I'm in my same old lingerie, and next year, like, she visited him, having conjugal visits at the prison.
She not feeling that situation.
And with Mecca, what were they in the helicopter? The helicopter ride? He was riding and dining. I mean, what was she thinking about?
We got to learn a little bit more about their history too, because it seemed like they hadn't talked in 24 years, and he probably just left abruptly. And so it was some unfinished business there. And in the meantime, I mean, 24 years, what do you expect her to do? She had to move on with her life. And so now that he's kind of like popping back up, it's like, you know, those old feelings just rekindled themselves again.
Doesn't it sound familiar?
It sounds like Angela and Ghost.
Yes, doesn't it sound? I mean, that's what happened. Angela was an old love, and what happened? Ghost fell right back into it. And the same thing is happening with Monet.
But unlike Ghost, she did Google him to see what he's been up to.
Absolutely.
Which is good, but it's still, I don't know. I still don't feel good about him. Something shady about him, because when old boy mentioned that he had been in Kuwait, the chef shut him down. And again, when Mel was talking, Mecca shut him down, put him straight to sleep.
Mecca, he wanted, but clearly he's been wanting her for a while. But let me tell you my other prediction about who I think Mecca is. I think he might be Ghost's brother.
You think so?
Yes. And the reason why I think that is because when he asked him about who the boy was, and he said Tariq St. Patrick, it was the way he reacted when he heard the name. He didn't say much, and then he started, observing, doing his reconnaissance and stuff.
That's a good prediction.
And when he was checking, and then I started watching him, and he had the turtleneck, the black turtleneck, and the beard, and I was like, and I remember one of the Q&As a long time ago with Courtney, and somebody in the chat said, did Ghost have a sister? And she said, no, not a sister. So I was like, oh, he has a brother out there somewhere, and he's been gone and stuff. And Ghost's dad was an alcohol. I mean, we don't know what Ghost's dad is up to, And I was like, and he had this interest in Tariq, and I just started thinking about in the Q&As how Courtney was saying that along the way, that Tariq is going to be making these mistakes, but that eventually that he's going to get mentors, several mentors.
Well, so I wanted to ask y'all that though, because I was thinking like, what is the end game with Mecca? Like, what is his end game? What's his goal? Because he's dealing with Kane on the side, but then he's also pursuing Monet. And it's kind of like he's not letting Kane know that his history with Monet. And then on this situation with Tariq, now that you bring that up, why would he go after his nephew if that is the case?
Well, so what's the end game? He may not be really going after him. He might be trying to see, like, to learn what's up, because who knows, he may not have had no real relationship with Ghost or whatever.
He's trying to take over the whole thing, and I think that's what getting in with Monet, dealing with putting eyes on Braden with Kane. He's doing some real strategic stuff, and all I want to say is with Monet and Lorenzo ain't no normal dude. So when you start thinking about what your feelings are, Lorenzo catch wind, he can touch you from the inside, let alone if he gets out and finds out all this. So I gotta kind of hand it to you in a little bit, Tiffany, with Mecca. Mecca's got to be something greater than what we think he is right now.
I think he is, and that's why I think he's gonna be something to be reckoned with. And she probably knows too that he can also protect her.
I don't know.
Well, she mentioned that she searched him, researched him, and that he had been in the import-export business. And so I'm like, is that code for something? Like, does she realize that he's in the drug business?
I think, you can be in import-export, but I think when you look at the kind of money it took to shut down the restaurant, that and things like that. Import-export is what they all say when they're in the drug business, because
that's what I'm saying. That sounds like Snowfall to me.
Yeah, that's Snowfall.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Does she think he's like legitimately in an import-export business or some types of goods or services?
I think
or is it really like the drug business? Does she understand what he's actually doing?
The way she posed the question to me, it seems as if she was just using it as a vernacular. The import-export business. Yeah, right. No, it's one of those type things.
Okay, well, that's a good prediction, Tiff. I'm on the lookout for that one, because if that is the case, Tariq needs some serious guidance, and Mecca seems to have a lot of experience in the industry. He's very savvy, and he clearly knows how to do his homework and work his way through situations. So we'll have to see how that works.
Look, it's my imagination running away with me. That I was just like, okay, because if Lorenzo comes out and he's trying to fight for Monet or whatever, and he's going up against Mecca, Kane is going to side with his dad. He don't like Tariq. If Mecca is family, it could be Mecca and Tariq against Kane and them.
Well, Kane and Lorenzo don't have that good of a relationship, though.
They don't, but they still family. What did he say to Diana when she came? Family first.
The other thing I could see happening with their situation is because Monet keeps like hollering at Diana, like down talking her, just being really aggressive for no reason. And I could see Diana and Drew wanting to split the family business up, because the way she treats them, it's kind of like, dang, I go out my way to please you. We do all this stuff for you, and you still treat us like stepchildren almost. And so it's like she expresses concern, like she picks and chooses when she wants to. And then she treats them like stepchildren the other half of the time. So it's like you get tired of that. It's like, I feel like even though, Lorenzo said, keep the family together, we're stronger together, I could see the family branching off and a lot of people going their separate ways.
Or
Yeah.
working, the two of them could work with Zeke, take care of his books and things like that, and just get away from the so-called family business altogether.
That's a good point too.
Yep.
No, go ahead, Ron.
No, I just wanted to say, because what we saw with Zeke, it seems like, Monet pulled that last string he had, because he was really upset with Monet in the car. So, he made that point, it's my life. So let's see what he does with it.
Mm-hmm.
I was just gonna say, I was surprised about how easily Kane was manipulated into giving up Tariq's name.
Well, because I think he really wants that alliance with Mecca. And Mecca was like, oh, you don't trust me? So I can't work with people that don't trust me, and I don't trust them.
Yeah, he's almost desperate for it, which means he's making mistakes too. He's not paying attention to things he should be paying attention to.
But you know what? Mecca is one dangerous, scary ass character. I mean, if I were sitting in that seat, I think I would have given that name up too, maybe a little sooner, because you just can't.
You out.
I mean,
he saw how he put his boy to sleep. I mean, that was his boy.
Yeah. I mean,
he was like, "Oh, he'll be online again in a minute."
That was a classic line. He'll be back online. But I mean, he put enough to sleep just like that, and you sitting there with a little lady in your. If it was me,
he looked shook.
Yeah,
he looked shook when it happened. He was looking like.
Look, this part is over for me. I gotta go because I got nothing left.
Yeah.
Not to mention he's huge.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
Yeah. And so I wanted to talk about Kane too for one more second though, because once Kane realized what happened with Zeke, he went over and accused Tariq of setting that whole situation up to have Zeke take the fall for the murders. And so I was like, whoa, the way he rolled up in there and just punched him.
Not just accused him, he just straight put paws on him. And which is another thing. We need to get Tariq some fighting lessons. Like, you need to learn how to hold them hands. You need to, both of them getting beat down in the streets. Like, what type
Brady knows how to fight, Brady knows how to fight.
Brady does know how to fight, but he did get dusted last week, though. He got a couple licks in, but he got smoked last week. But both of them need to learn how to throw them hands.
But you can see that there's a lot of distrust still there, even though that Kane and Tariq have made this kind of alliance, if you want to call it that. They still don't really trust each other. And so, Kane is like, why would you set Zeke up, blah, blah, blah. And so the whole thing with Zeke too is that when he was under pressure and Whitman kind of started turning up the heat on him, he was playing on his jealousy. And he was like, oh, you didn't know that she was out here with other men, she was back with Jabari. Did you know that and then he even kind of told it like, oh yeah, she's real friendly. Like he said she's
generous.
Yeah, generous. Did you know we used to deal with each other? And so he just it's true. But he exposed it to Zeke, and I was surprised that he was so invested in the situation, because I know that he cares for Carrie, but I didn't know he was like head over heels like that, to the point he could be manipulated like that.
I wonder if there's a backstory there, because he said she's good at getting men to do stuff for her. So I don't know what he meant by that.
Because he probably has been a victim.
So because he seemed real salty. He seemed real salty.
And the other part is that the jealousy got him to deny Carrie's alibi. And so now Carrie's looking funny again.
Well, I think
he wasn't going to say that because of him being a student there. He doesn't want to.
Yeah, I think he didn't want. He was trying to protect her because he
protect her and himself too.
Right.
Yeah,
he was, but he doesn't know what Carrie has already told.
But you know what? Even with Carrie,
the night of the murder.
But even with Carrie, this fool gonna come at my, and if I were Carrie, you gonna come at my face accusing me of murder. You have no evidence whatsoever.
And she's a former prosecutor. I'd have been like, get out of here.
Yeah, I mean, like, you need to take a walk, because you like 6 inches from getting your badge taken.
I'd have been like, you know what? I'm filing harassment charges against you.
Yeah.
Like something. I would have reported him. Like, he is harassing me. I would have exposed, if I had to, that he's an ex.
Yeah. No, yeah. That, hey, that
stalking me.
That would get him off the case right there.
Yeah.
Right there would take him off the case. You know, because he's
You
got
need to do what Angela did to Greg now.
Right, exactly.
Yes.
Shut that man down.
Exactly. Shut him down because he's getting on my nerves with this, halfway and detective so-called investigation. I don't know what he's doing.
Now, the other thing I wanted to comment on is Lauren and Tariq, because I can see Lauren, she was like, at first she was sitting with Brashandria and old girl that leaked the video, which I knew she was going to do. So she got to get the hands.
Yeah, she got to get the hands for sure.
Yes, but Brashandria was trying to get Lauren to smoke and, unwind. And Lauren was like, no, I don't do that. Well, she kind of like left the room in a rush, but they put the drugs in the drawer. So I noted that and I was like, uh-oh, that might be a problem.
Get in trouble.
Yes. But then the other part of it is I can see Lauren falling under Tariq's spell slowly but surely. And so she was very irritated by the fact that they kept getting interrupted constantly by him having to run off. But then once he took her on the visit with Yaz, he kind of used her to help him with his plan.
He finessed.
He finessed. Yes, he did. And so I didn't realize it until it happened. I was like, oh, so this was part of the deal. Like, come along with me, distract this woman so I could plant this burner phone with Yaz.
But here we go. Here we go again with that question with Lauren and Tariq. Is she for him? She's so green. I mean,
but that's what I'm saying. He's slowly starting to corrupt her. They start with small little things that are easy asks. Just go with me. Yes, it's always little things, and then the asks that they start requesting of you gets bigger and bigger, and they slowly start to corrupt.
And next thing you know, Lauren will be in a RICO case.
Exactly. This is exactly how it started with Ghost to Angela. It started off with, just help me with this. Can you just search this file for this? Can you, small little things, and then as you go on, the requests become bigger and more illegal.
It's just from her background and where she's from and her parents. I just doesn't. You could be right. I'm not doubting you whatsoever. And you are right that this is how things start, but just from her background's sake and who her parents are, to me, it would seem like the moment he drops anything big on her about what he really is, it seems to me she would jet.
Not necessarily.
What people do for love.
Like that. Just like Braden likes to be in the streets. Just because he has money and affluence, he still wants to be a hood rat.
But
he's looking at
Lauren might want to be the same way.
Yeah,
he's looking at Lauren like she can be a mother to Yaz. That's what I was getting.
Yes. I was getting that too. He was like, she has a good, reputation. She could be a good example for Yaz.
She ain't got no record. She don't do drugs.
I think
not yet.
the one he really wants to be with, though. Out of all three of them girls, Lauren is the one he really wants. It's just that she's the one that knows the least about the extracurricular, and that's what the issue is. At least Diana and Effie kind of know what they're getting into with Tariq. Right. But Lauren is the one he really wants.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a hard sell. Me personally, you might be right, but I just see a hard sell for Lauren. Based on where she comes from.
Well, he done put it on her now.
He
put it on her now, so you never know, Ron.
Yeah, well, no.
I was like, hold up. Tariq is out here getting busy. He's grown up right before our eyes.
That's why I said he finessed. It was hard to watch too. I mean, I know for real, Michael Rainey Jr. is 21, but it was like looking at our child. Like, I don't want to see him get busy.
Yeah, let me digress. You're right. I forgot that scene. So let me back up.
Ron,
let me back up a few steps. Okay.
Yes. He done put it on her now. She might be able to do anything.
Okay,
right.
Yeah. Well,
she didn't gave it up. So I mean,
I shall sip my cup of tea out of my.
But we know this about Tariq, but the way that she met him, he's coming from a privileged background, private school kid, father won for lieutenant governor. She's not looking at him like the rest of everybody's looking at him, right? She's completely caught off guard. It was some question about maybe what his father did, but she doesn't think anything like that about Tariq. She was completely caught off guard by that being a part of his lifestyle.
And that's where I'm going. That's you just said exactly what I was thinking.
Oh, of course. I'm not saying that that she wouldn't be appalled by that. That's why I think before, going back to what some of our comments said that they thought that we were hating on Lauren, that we were talking about Effie and Diana kind of being better for him. That was my point right there. What you said is that she does not know the real him. She knows the prestigious family he comes from and the education and stuff, the impressive Tariq. She does not know that the Tariq that killed his dad and is out here trapping in the streets. She does not know that. And that's why I think that when she finds that out, that may be a turn.
But he's slowly starting to let her in on more. He showed her the situation with Yaz. And when they were in the room, he told her about Zeke. Like, if he gets locked up, then there goes my education. Like, I'm gonna have to go to school, and because I'm responsible for him. And she's like, what? And he's like, it's a lot of stuff you don't understand.
It's the same stuff. I mean, you slowly but surely. I mean, Ghost did the same thing with Angela too. Like, even with the Stern thing when they went to Miami, like she helped him get the dirt on the competitor to get that the paperwork signed to take back to Stern. It's the same stuff. He got the same skills, like father, like son.
Yep. So I was like, wow, he is really Ghost 2.0 here. We starting to see it unfold. He just needs a little bit more refining, but he's on his way.
He's definitely on his way.
Well, I mean, all that happened this week is leaving me like, we got a lot to look forward to, and we not even, like I said, at the halfway point. So I was looking at the previews for next week, and it looks like Monet is trying to scrape up $1 million in 3 days. And I'm like,
$1 million. I'm like, why?
That should be nothing to y'all.
Bond. I'm like, what do they even have to really hold Zeke for? And I'm like, they must. What's the call? Bodies get ready to pop up. That's what I'm thinking.
That's it. Because he lied.
Yeah, he lied. And then I think they're gonna find Ramirez's body because I don't think Kane is the sharpest knife in the drawer and stuff. So, and when Tariq asked him about the body, and he was like, "Oh no, they're not gonna find it." They can already find that body.
Yeah.
and that's not how they gonna tie poor Zeke and Carrie up in that mess.
So let's talk about the God complex with Simon, because he comes around and he's always in people's business. So I'm thinking that Tate might have said something. Now I don't know the connection between Tate and Simon. I don't know if I've ever seen it, but
you have, because he was the one that told him to go work at the school.
Exactly, that's true. So I'm thinking that Tate, listening to that conversation with Carrie and Whitman, went to Simon and said, "Hey, I need to get this detective. I need you to go make him disappear."
He probably did.
And so we see in the excerpts for next week that Simon says to Detective Whitman, in so many words, "I need you to disappear." And he says, "Well, I don't take threats, blah blah blah," or I don't have
take
to
orders.
Take orders from you. And he says, "Everybody takes orders from me," which so far he's correct. I mean,
well, I don't know how this plays into it with Zeke saying he's going to leave school and go pro, but the reason that Tariq was there was because Stern was concerned about the reputation of the school and athletic team, and so he was there to tutor him. So he does have some interest in Zeke and his outcome. So I didn't know if that was why he was also there, because maybe he doesn't want to ruin Zeke's reputation because it'll have a negative reflection on the school. So that could be another reason why he steps in too. Not just because Tate asked him to intervene, but because of that too.
So the $1 million that Monet said they had to raise, and I don't know if I missed it, but is it for Zeke, or is it that, say, Davis is asking for X amount of dollars to help Lorenzo get out of jail, or what
could be that? Well, Monet doesn't know about the Lorenzo situation and Davis helping with that, but it could be that it's for Davis to represent Zeke. Because Tariq was talking to Davis in the previews for next week, and Davis was asking him like, "Are you alleging a cover up or something like that?" So it could be that maybe that's what the money is for, because at this point in time, Zeke is not under arrest. He left with Monet, not unless they rearrest him for something else.
Yeah, because they don't.
He doesn't need bail.
Right, because they don't have a thing on him to arrest him. So it's interesting to make that. I mean, it was interesting to hear her ask for $1 million, because I was trying to figure out where that would be going. But then we can't overlook Braden and Kane getting shot at in the street.
because somebody could have hit them up for their product, and maybe, I mean, Monet paid for the drugs up front from Mecca, so that shouldn't be anything that they have to pay back right now. But maybe they missing out on their profits, their re-up money. Maybe they gotta scramble to get that together. And Kane was talking about skipping town anyways after he does that stuff with Zeke. So I was like, it's a lot going on.
Those boys that were shooting at him looked legit. They didn't seem like just little street boys.
And did you notice that Braden looked so excited as they getting shot at?
Something wrong with him. Okay.
Well, he's a thrill seeker, clearly.
Yeah, well, he's gonna be a deal seeker, a dead thrill seeker if he keeps this mess up. Because I, you know, nice Mercedes all shot up now.
What's Dad gonna say about that? Considering he just bought it for you.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to next week. I thought this week's episode was really good. I enjoyed it. I don't know what else to add. I don't think I have any additional predictions. I don't know if you guys do either, but you guys want to complete our who can get the hands list? I already said, old girl that leaked the video of Zeke, she can get the hands.
What's her name?
Absolutely, she can get the hands. I think that detectives need to stay on the hands list too. Whitman, yeah, for sure.
Can absolutely get the hands. Yeah, I don't think I have anybody else to add to the list at this point in time. Maybe just those two for this week.
I don't know. Something about Braden makes me want to give him a boot.
You can give Braden the hands.
Yeah, I look, he's crisscrossing between Kane and Tariq. That cannot work out.
Let's give Braden a hand. He can get one.
Y'all don't want to give Nuff the hands for just entering the scene, running his mouth and getting choked out.
You know what?
No, you know what? Nuff had enough. He
Yeah, he already got some hands for him, literally. I think he learned his lesson.
That's funny.
Okay. Well, I just want to say thank you to everyone for watching. Please drop down in the comment section and let us know what you thought about this week's episode and give us your predictions for the rest of the season. Also, make sure that you click subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell so that you get alerted whenever we post, and like the video. We are also on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok, so give us a follow there. And make sure you are back here next week, same time, same place, for recap of episode 4. You guys got anything else to add?
Yes, me. I wanted to show off my little $1 million worth of game t-shirt because I pulled up on them Philly boys, Gilly and Wallow, last night for their tour. And so today they'll be in New York. So any Power fans who are in New York, please go check them out. Pull up on them.
Yeah, I heard the show was the bomb. Gilly and
It
Wallow
was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And y'all know I'm from Philly, so I had to pull up and represent.
Okay, that's dope. Well, thank you for dropping that. Everyone, I think we're gonna call it a night, so we'll see you next week. Right. Bye.
I ran up a check, I might do it again. Enemies close, had me thinking they're friends. 10 toes down, I'll be free until the end. Crib outside the city, I don't feel safe in my hands. Took so many years, I'm just waiting for the wins. I'm in debt to no one but the one who took my sins. I do it for real, there's no reason to pretend. If I do it once, I do it again. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me.